Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and the big Mortal Kombat patch has now happened. If you check the patch notes, a lot of people have gone up in profile. Pretty much everyone's gone up in profile, right? Some people got some small nerfs, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But, there's definitely winners and losers in any given balance patch, right? And that's exactly what this is. So we're going to be talking about characters that definitely got the most out of it, characters that are still just fine, because I know some people are being a little fraudulent and dropping certain characters, but we'll get to that. And a specific character that we're going to talk about Kotal Kahn. We're just going to talk about Kotal Kahn. But anyways, let's start with the winners, and the biggest winner is Kollector. So Kollector is the big winner of the patch, in my opinion, and it's due to one very specific change, and that's how 443 works, this guy right here, as it is a launcher now. So before, it was not a launcher. You did your hit, that's all she wrote. So you get your 12%, and it was special cancelable, so in spare change variations, which is the one I prefer. So you do something like this, you get your hit, and you toss the DOT, and you get one guaranteed tick, and that was all that's all there was to it, right? But now you get actual combos off of it. So that's an opportunity he never had before, right? So the threat of it is so much more real, especially once again the spare change variation, where you can do a lot of restands using the grenade, dash forward, and then threaten them with this, and there's really nothing they can do about it other than block. So that is just a fantastic change. Also changes up his combo structure by quite a bit, right? So once again, just to give you an example combo. So beforehand, that's 34. It's very respectable mid-screen by any character standards. He would struggle, especially off like a starter like 422, to ever get 30%. With a 422 starter, he was never going to get close to 30%, right? The only way he was going to get 30% off a mid-screen starter would be like off forward 4, which is one of his riskier, more unsafe moves, right? So yeah, now he can easily get over 30%, so his damage just goes up, right? It's just a lot more real. I guess you could say a downside, if you want, is he actually does launch you, obviously, and if he launches you, then, you get the chance to break away. And one of his big things was he has a lot of unbreakable combos, but hey, those combos still exist. They're not going anywhere, right? So you can do them just fine. It's not a big deal. So it's just more options when you never had options before. And once again, this is a good mid-screen tool. It's something, as a Kollector player myself, this is something I use all the time anyways, even without the launcher, right? So now I just get a lot more damage from it, which is pretty amazing, honestly. And of course there is other changes, like the demonic mace is faster. As a Kollector player, we'll see, because it is faster, but it's still not fast, right? So we'll see the usefulness of it in time, I suppose. But for now, jury's still out on that one. And he technically even got some nerfs, right? So Bola has a worse hitbox when it's outside of a combo, meaning there's a lot of situations, used to be something like this, where I would toss the DOT, I'd Bola you, I'd catch you at the start of your jump, like I catch you while you're jumping, you hit the ground, land the DOT, the damage over time puddle, and then you take all this damage, including damage over time ticks, leading to a nice little chunk of damage, right? So it's actually harder to catch people with that. And in spare change, it was a decent part of the game plan. It's harder though, not impossible. You just got to space it a lot better, and hope the dice roll works in your favor, right? But yeah, overall, once again, we got things a couple tones down. I'm not the biggest fan of the DOT puddle lasting longer and less damage. I was very much a big fan of it doing all of his damage much faster, because it made it a much better tool in my opinion, but whatever. But even with all that said, just him having such a stronger tool in neutral, his combo damage going through the roof compared to what it used to be, it's such a big deal, and it shoots him up the tier list in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying he's top 5 or nothing. A lot of people used to put Kollector near the bottom of the tier list, if not at the bottom of the tier list, right? And this doesn't exactly shoot him to the top guaranteed, but it is a very powerful tool for a character that had a lot of low-level, neat, and interesting things, but nothing just overtly powerful. And now we actually have a string that is just straight-up overtly powerful, because once again, too, if it is blocked, and, be a hit confirmer, right? This is only -10 on block, and -10 on block this far away doesn't really matter. -9 there, too, at the exact distance, right? Also, the 443 here also comes out on block now. Now, don't do that. The one thing here is that move never came out on block before. You could hit 443 and it would only come out if it hit the final hit, right? So -20 is a lot more real, right? So do hit confirm your combos, because if you just go for this, -20, some characters can punch that from that far away, right? But once again, I guess I'm gushing a little bit. It is a very real change for Kollector. Once again, a character that had a lot of nice little things going on for him, but now he has like one big tool, and it helps just bring the whole package together. And with that said, he is definitely the winner of the patch, in my opinion. The next big winner of the patch is very certainly D'Vorah. Now, she's not top tier or nothing, no, just like Kollector, not top tier, but she has definitely gone from the dregs and now is serviceable and workable. Just stuff like Forward 1. Forward 1 is a very amazing string, Forward 1-3. Forward 1 is now 12 frames instead of the 15 it was before, making it much more useful as a poke, counter poke, and all that fun stuff. Still has the issue where if you hit it at the exact tip of the range, as you just saw in a second ago here, the follow-up can miss, which stinks, right? That sucks, but still, the move's a lot faster, and that's a lot better. The other competitive variation for D'Vorah, the one with the Widow's Kiss here, that got so much more real. One, the Widow's Kiss move itself, it got 6 frames faster, meaning you can actually use it to punish certain projectiles or just big whiff punish moves. Like, if someone wants to do their fireball from full screen, it's a lot more easy to react. Now, it's still not going to grab a lot of the faster projectiles like Sonya's rings and stuff. Unless you are like near frame perfect timing, she'll still be able to recover. That's just the way the game works, unfortunately, right? But still, it now works in situations where you could not rely on it at all before. And now with it being 6 frames faster, 6 frames is a big window when it comes to reacting stuff, right? That is the difference between the hit or the miss. And it being 6 frames faster is a big deal. Now, speaking of big deals, and this variation as well, we got the new Crushing Blow here if you got a bug on you. So if she does the move like a swarm or something like that that puts a bug on you, goes for the forward throw, it is now a Crushing Blow. And the big old bug hits you. So 29%, certainly not nothing. Now, the one thing I did not know and I was not aware of when I made the big patch video is it actually gives you more damage per bug. So if we have all 5 bugs on you, that's 37. That, I haven't mathed it out yet, but I'm sure that makes it the most damaging Crushing Blow in the game. 37, almost 40% off a forward throw and have all 5 bugs on you, and it's not hard. All you have to do is EX Swarm, right? EX Swarm puts all 5 bugs on you right away. That's really all you got to worry about. And like, even if you don't get the throw and the Crushing Blow, right? 5 bugs on you means a guaranteed 15% when you call them back. So that makes it very real and very scary. So that makes a combo like that a lot scarier now too. We have 1 bug on you, meaning I can get my forward Crushing Blow. And also it means, if I'm so willing, I can just burn both bars at that point, right? And have all 5 bugs on you guaranteed. So after I do my EX Swarm, to do a little over 30%. So if you just did the combo and then got thrown immediately, that's 70% right there effectively, right? And that can get really scary. And that's not an optimal combo. I'm not really a D'Vorah player. I'm labbing around a little bit, but that's not an optimal combo at all. I'm sure you can do better than that. But that gets super scary and super real now. Just the threat, right? You always had the threat of I can pull the bugs back and, you know, get my free damage, right? But now just a massive Crushing Blow with that much potential. And she's not hurting for Crushing Blow. She already has like her down 4-2 has always been one of the best Crushing Blows in the game, right? Even when she was a bad character. And now just the threat of this kind of stuff just makes it so much more real. On top of that, it's other stuff like just the way that 4-2-2 was changed. So 4-2-2, you now go to 4-2-2-4, and then hit there. That's actually plus on block now. And yes, it's a high, so, you know, hey, you can duck it, all that kind of fun stuff, right? But in the other competitive variation, she has an overhead follow-up, right? And that overhead follow-up is also very safe. It's only -2 on block. It's eminently safe, right? So that gets a lot more real. Like, hey, we do this, it's still my turn, right? So this and more things like, oh, once again, her down 3-2, down 3 change, very real here. The down 3 change is a very big deal here. Let me just switch over characters here. As you can see, it is now plus 13 on hit, which does mean it does jail into forward 1 if you so inclined, although it's pretty tight, but you can just go stand 1-2 as well. But yeah, the down 3 change, just so many changes. Once again, she's not top tier or nothing, right? But I think she's probably like hot take at least mid tier now. She's got a lot of stuff, you know. Both variations are a lot more real. The other variation too, like it can still combo. She still has Deadly Swarm versus like the Widow's Kiss, right? So no matter what, both get combos. One maybe gets arguably better combos than the other one, but this variation, the one I'm smacking in the face, also gets all the setups and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, D'Vorah, with a lot of her normals changing, a lot of her properties changing, and just getting stuff, man, she's just so much more real. The third person I'll assign as a winner of the patch here is Kabal. And you're probably saying, well, wait a hot second, rooflemonger, you're trying to trick me. Kabal didn't get changed at all in the patch. Exactly. I know a few Kabal players that were legitimately shocked he didn't get a small nerf, because Kabal's got everything you want in this game. Like, end of story. You know, decent fireball. Debatably the best air projectile in the game, because he can just chuck this out with, like, effectively zero consequence 99% of the time. Stuff like back 1-2, which is devastating range, and it's mid overhead. Like, a lot of big, you know, neutral buttons are like high, right, that you can duck. No, his is mid overhead. You ain't ducking this unless you got a weird hitbox. But a lot of those weird hitbox issues got fixed, which works in his favor, right? Man, he just can do everything, right? The only thing you can fault him is he has slightly below average damage in combos. But other than that, man, there is no aspect of this game Kabal does not excel in. And for that alone, like, that's what makes him a winner. In fact, he's untouched, with the top tiers being a little less down, and Kabal was just on the edge of top tier himself, and he has all the secret stuff like, yo, I've said this in the combo video before, but if you never saw that combo video, his down 3, I know when you're looking at this, you're saying, what about down 3, right? It's one of the best anti-airs in the game. And now I already know you're confused, but trust me, try it out. And from this down 3 anti-air, you get a full combo conversion, everything's gravy, right? Don't need to worry about uppercuts or stand jab and potentially risk doing it too slow. Just lower your hitbox and your hurt box and just go to town, right? Kabal, complete package, always was, after this patch, still is. And now that the shine's a little less bright on some of the top characters, it just makes him shine all the brighter. Now, before I get to what I consider the loser of the patch, Kotal Kahn, I do want to talk about some of the characters that were obviously considered the top tier characters and did get a little bit of a nerf. And basically that, they're still basically the best characters in the game, so don't freak out. And first up here, let's talk about old Sonya. So Sonya, she has less health now, 950 from 1,000, right? If you want to do EX ring cancels here, dash all that, does less damage, but don't worry, it still does 40% in the corner. And one of the big ones here, air control. This guy right here, right? And if you EX it, hey, it only does the knockdown. It does do more damage on the knockdown, but it doesn't do the pop-up anymore. And all I got to say to that is, learn your combos, right? Like, example here. Like, there you go. That's 35 mid-screen. That's perfectly serviceable. That's really good, right? Or if you want to learn the harder combo. And that's what, 37? Yeah, that's well and above average damage mid-screen, 37%, right? So she still has the damage. Once again, in the corner with ring cancels, she still gets 40%, right? So her damage potential, like, this didn't really ever matter. Like, honestly, it didn't ever really matter. She still gets crazy damage mid-screen, crazy damage in the corner. She's still a mix-up god. She still has some of the best zoning in the game because this ring stuff is downright ridiculous. So, yeah, Sonya is still a top 5 character. And we got a word for everyone I'm going to talk about a little later on here. But if you know a friend who dropped Sonya because of the patch, feel free to call them a fraud. So Erron Black. So Erron Black got some nerfs too. His fatal blow went to 18 frames, meaning it's still basically one of the best fatal blows in the game, no doubt about it. Scud shot, it got more recovery, so, something like this is no longer safe against certain characters. Certain characters can't, it's still safe, they can't do anything about it, right? Because of the amount of pushback, as you can see, he's not very close, right? Some characters, the best they can do is like a down 3 and like barely hit him with the tip of their toe. But some characters can punish it, and a couple characters can actually full punish it, but that's the thing. And I guess that's a big deal to them, but then again, you can just, scud shot and shoot, and you'll say, well, hey, wait on a second, rooflemonger. Didn't the scud shot shoot also get, much more negative on block? Well, yes, it did. It is now -9 from this far away, which means no one in the world can punish it. So if you're the kind of Erron Black, whose whole game plan revolved around back 2-2 and the scud shot, well, then you can still stay safe for a bar. And shame on you, by the way. That makes you very fraudulent Erron Black. And some other stuff here. Let's talk about the huge buff he got. The amazing buff he got. Holy crap. So, you might be saying, well, what are you talking about here, rooflemonger? And I'm talking about this right here, down 3. So his down 3 got Omega level buff here. His down 3 now is 11 frame advantage on hit. And it is a 7 framer, and it has a massive hitbox for down 3. It's always been one of the better down 3s. So we do have them crouching now, and if you're aware, you know, any normal that hits forces someone to stand, right? Even if they're crouching, meaning we hit our down 3, that means they have to accept stand 2. And once again here, has incredible range, a lot more than his down jab, right? And if someone's prone to crouching, that means even from very far away, we can smack them in the face. So every time you get a down 3, you have to deal with this stupid thing every single time. This has always been one of Erron's best tools, because it has 2 overheads, and in between either of those overheads, you can go for your low slide into EX, right? So between either of those, it's a 50-50 on either one of them effectively. And of course, if it gets blocked, it's so much pushback, and it's already safe anyways. You might as well just reset the neutral. So now he has the threat of, oh my god, I must have been mashing there. He has the threat of doing this off every single down 3 at quite a decent distance. So, characters like Noob Saibot, the down 3 into the jail is like half their game plan, right? And now Erron Black has that under his repertoire. He can just kind of do this, and every single time you get smacked by a down 3, it's time to deal with that, and then of course the 50-50s it comes with. And let alone you could just do like stand 1-2, which is like barely negative, then go for like a throw mix or something like that, right? So yeah, he got nerfed a bit, a little bit, a small bit, but in the end he got stuff like that. And guess what? Boot is still boot, like stuff like that. You know, boot is still boot. All of his combos are still all of his combos. So Erron Black, once again, if you know a friend, family member, or a loved one that played Erron Black and they feel like switching up after the patch, in my opinion, a little bit fraudulent. Geras, when your nerf turns out to be a buff. That's all I gotta say. So basically, the point I'm trying to say is, if you played the top tier characters before, yo, they're all still very good. Don't jump ship just because you see a couple small nerfs. In the end, a lot of what made those characters what they are is still very much present and still very much there, right? So no need to jump ship. And maybe I'm joking out a little bit with the whole fraudulence thing, right? But in the end, what I'm trying to say is just the characters are still plenty fine. So when it comes to the loser of the patch, now there's a couple characters I'm disappointed in didn't get more. Like Katana, I wish he got a lot more just across the board. Kano and Raiden, while the alternate variations, Dirtbag and Raijin, got their buffs and are probably now the main variations, like the more popular too, because now I think they're just better. I was kind of hoping to see their variations, the other variations, get anything, and they really kind of didn't. But Kotal is unique in that he was widely considered the worst character in the game. He got no buffs to the quote-unquote main variation, Ascension, and got buffs, quote-unquote, buffs, to Totemic. And in the end, now instead of debatably sharing bottom tier with Kano and D'Vorah, D'Vorah is definitely, in my opinion, mid-tier now. Kano with the Dirtbag buffs is maybe just a little bit above bottom tier, low tier now. And Kotal's just by himself. If you're not aware, I did make a video, and I guess I'll link it at the end of this one here. 10 reasons why Kotal Kahn is the worst character in the game, and the patch addressed exactly one of those issues here. That guy right here. Down 3. So down 3 now does jail, just as we went over with Erron Black. It jails, so we can do jail and stand 1, stand 2, all that kind of stuff, right? But that just is the baseline, because every character that had a broken down 3, like Erron Black, like Scarlet, like D'Vorah, they all got fixed, right? So this is not anything special or anything worthwhile to note, right? Now after the jail here, you can say, well, you can force them to block, and then you can go for, a hit, or you can go for the command grab. Yeah, sure. But so can literally everybody else. Like, there's no one that can't go, oh, this, oh, you're going to block, I'm going to throw you, right? That's not really a big deterrent. That's not really a big feather in his hat. And when it comes to, like, the mid-hitting grapples, like, New Era Geras has a much better mid-hitting command grab than Kotal Kahn, right? So he benefits a lot more from that style of play than Kotal does. Just so many issues. And, like, stealth nerfs as well. So, like, someone like Erron Black here, with his 8-frame jabs here, stand jabs. When Kotal did the back 2-2-3 string, there was the gap, right? But an 8-frame is a bit slow, so most of the time he would just trade, right? And the trade definitely works in Kotal's favor. But now, considering he's airborne in a misguided attempt to make it less punishable, now someone like Erron Black can punish it a lot better. And, like, I didn't even lab anything big time, right? That's just, like, 2-second example. Like, I'm sure I could like dash and then 4 dash and like get a big punch, right? So a lot of characters that had worst standing jabs, they can now just down jab him because he's airborne, like dash or special cancel, whatever, and just get a follow-up when they couldn't before, right? So now characters that couldn't deal with it too well actually have a better option. Now, you could argue the new enhanced parry, right? It is actually usable in these situations now. It actually can stop a hit. But it's a weird multi-level mind game for what should be just a basic hit confirm string that no other character in the game has to worry about, really. They just do their thing. And, oh, if I got blocked, well, I guess it's your turn. Take your turn, right? For Kotal, it's like this weird multi-layer thing that just no one has to worry about. And by the way, the hitboxes are completely unchanged on that. It still misses the second hit if the first hit hits from too far away, which is the whole reason you want to use the move, because it's a long-range move. And I know I'm ranting at this point, but please bear with me on this. Suffice to say, the changes Kotal needed, he didn't get. Suffice to say, Kotal had issues. I made a list about 10 issues he had, and one of them got addressed, and that thing that was addressed was a universal issue that everybody got fixed on the down 3, right? Kotal didn't get what he needs, and there are other characters that definitely could have got more than what they got, right? But Kotal, I feel, it's just a little more exceptional just because it's very public knowledge how bad Kotal Kahn is, right? And the fact he didn't get what he needed just kind of stinks. And for that, Kotal Kahn is absolutely the loser of this patch. And here we are now at the end of the video. So, of course, everything I said is fully my opinion only. That is the nature of such an opinion piece, but still, I stand by it. You know, characters like Devora, characters like Kollector, they made out like bandits. Even though I don't think Devora is definitely not top tier. Kollector might be on the edge of high-ish tier, mostly because he was always better than everyone else said he was, you know, except for Old Man Rooflemonger always said he was pretty decent. And this buff actually makes him just a much more complete character. But, you know, he still isn't Sonya, right? Sonya, people like Sonya, it's still going to be top dog, despite the nerfs. So please don't run away and try to find a different character, because Sonya is still somewhat, like, pretty much everyone else in the roster wishes they were someone like Sonya, right? So don't run away, because Sonya is still crazy good. Anyways, that's it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. If this video has found you well, go out and play some Mortal Kombat.